Oop discovers his future Mills affair, and now the family is destroyed. Really wish I would just stay home. My girlfriend came over to my apartment today to study and do some homework as she still is in university. When she arrived and started to unpack, she noticed her laptop wasn't in her bag, and being the good boyfriend I am, I told her to not worry and that I will drive over to her house and grab it. I really wish I hadn't. My GF still lives at home, and I am really close to her parents. Both of us are. In fact, I see them as my own. Reason being, my parents are toxic, and it's best to go no contact with them for my own sanity. Her father, on the other hand, is a positive male role model in my life. Great job, positive attitude, and always gives good advice, Emo. He's a great guy, not much else to say. I think highly of her mother as well, caring, loving, and always supportive of my relationship with her daughter. They both love me, and it's the reason why today shocked me to the core. I have a key to their house, and as I entered, living room is first room upon entry. I see my future Mill and some stranger having S-time, fully nude, not hiding anything. As soon as they saw me, my Mill started panicking and both ran into the back of the house away from me. I heard my Mile cursing over and over. As soon as I realized what was happening, I just backed out of the living room and stood on the front porch. I honestly didn't know what to do. It didn't feel like my place to confront them, as it's not my fight, so after about 5 minutes I re-entered to see the stranger walk past me out of the door, followed shortly by my Mile. As he left, she looked to me and started crying. She broke down and tried explaining the situation away, how their marriage had been suffering and how she loves File but feels so unsatisfied. She begged me not to say anything, that it was a mistake and it would nuke the family. She was hysterical. I just sort of looked at her. What was I supposed to say? The begging wouldn't stop. She even grabbed onto my shirt. She wanted me to not say anything and let it be swept under the rug. I told her flat out that I'm not lying to save herself. She then begged to be the one to tell Phil, to at least give her that. So in the interest of getting the duck out of there, I just said sure and went to retrieve what I was there for. I then went immediately home. I haven't told my GF yet, as she's still working on assignments, but I plan on telling her afterwards. I'm sad. It's devastating knowing that the comfortable family I found and felt finally a part of is about to be nuked into the sun. I can't imagine how my File is going to take this. He's a good guy and definitely doesn't deserve getting his heart broken like this. I'm also sad for what my girlfriend is about to hear and what will come of it. It's such a huge poopty situation that I wish I never had any part of. My poor GF and File. You. Update. T-Mill cheated now. The family is destroyed. Update on the original post I wrote last night. A lot has happened. So I told my GF everything I saw when she finished her homework. She was devastated and crying like I have never seen before. We talked for a good few hours, where she disclosed to me that her mom had cheated on her father once before when she was just a child. The affair partner was a boss from her work and had gone on for a few years by that point. She only knew about it later down the line because a family member told her. After I settled her down, I could tell her sadness turned to anger. Around 2 in the morning, she insisted we go confront her mom and tell her father everything. I tried talking her out of it and to do this on another day and at a better time, but she doubled down saying her mother doesn't deserve peace. So we ended up at her parents' house early in the morning. They were just settling into bed. The look on my Mile face was obvious. She knew what was coming. It was ducked up. I have never seen my girlfriend scream and cuss someone out so hard. Every single possible insult was used. My GF told her mother that she's going no contact for good. When things calmed down, her father was clearly baffled and had a lot of questions. I told him everything, what I saw, what I was doing, why I was there, and what Mill said to me. I could tell I just sank this poor man's heart. His eyes filled up with tears, but he just remained silent. I guess she hadn't told him, which I knew was the plan all along. Typical ducking cheaters. After another 20-30 minutes of cussing, screaming, and crying, I was able to get my GF and I to leave. I felt so bad for her and Phil. I felt responsible for destroying what I thought was beautiful family. I mean, I don't regret at all spilling the beans, but I just wish I wasn't at the center of it all. I don't want to break the people who I love hearts. Feels like a nightmare and reality was just turned upside down. When we got home, I got a text from File saying, "Thanks for being honest and transparent with him. He said he loves me and that we will get through this. He's a great guy. I just can't believe that piece of poop woman did this to him." After a night of little to practically no sleep, I got out of bed this morning and made some breakfast for my girl. We talked, and I think she handling better now, but still not great. I invited File over if he wanted a place to stay or just to lay low for a while. He surprisingly took me up on the offer and came over shortly after. GF File and I had a pretty lengthy conversation on how he felt and what the next steps are. He looked disoriented, but managed to handle himself well, given all that has happened. It's clear he's deeply in love with Mile. He kept saying he wants to try and fix it. Jeff and I both think that's a bad idea. He told us that the person Mile originally cheated on him with was the same guy she was having S-time with. It had been over a decade since she was first caught and must have kept this man in the shadows. I can't believe he's willing to work through this knowing that. I couldn't at all. My GF later asked where her mom was. Apparently, she left in the middle of the night after we left. No one knows where she's at. I wouldn't be that surprised if she was at her app's house. Honestly, I'm sick to my stomach over it all. I feel like I destroyed a family. The people who I really care about are broken and hurt. It really sucks. I hate it all and wish people would just be decent human beings. Story 2. How did you move on? And if you have this experience, when the app and ex are getting married right away. Sorry, this is a long one. I am about 6 weeks away from divorce. Me, 45M EX 45M MEX 45, from someone I have been with for 25 years, 3 dating, they 22 married. We have 2 young adult children out of the house and our 15, 12, 18-year-olds still at home. I have to live an hour away till I can afford a place to live by them. Wife had 2 affairs that I know of. One was an emotional affair to which she tried to sleep with the dude who supposedly didn't reciprocate. He was married with 6 kids and a handyman. She blew so much money on our house with him doing work that she called it an amount she feels uncomfortable with. I forgave her and tried to save our marriage and family. Second was a rekindle of a basically high school sweetheart. This happened into our reconciliation period, so she was checked out and put little effort into it. I was all in and being super husband, father, etc. while she stayed secretive about location and didn't want to do counseling. Unbeknownst to me, this was her sweetheart when she was 19 years old, whom she was in love with when she married me. If he would have come back from his short stint in the military and professed his love, which he did love her, but thought he wasn't good enough for her, she stated she would have divorced me for him. He came into the picture while we were reconciling, so this is why she stayed secretive as she was talking and meeting up with him. Supposedly only cuddled a lot and kissed once. Both professed their love for each other. He is married with 3 young adult children. Youngest was 16, 17. They planned to be together, and he was pretending to reconcile with his spouse as she had pics of them snuggling in his truck and she pressed counseling. They were making life together plans. That lasted a month while they were in this stage. She was going to leave me for him and had second doubts and liked how our family was having fun. She now wanted to save our marriage and family. The problem is, she already checked out and didn't want to put the effort to check back in. I had my final straw in a broken trust issue that she totally disrespected me when I caught her being around the original emotional affair dude. She knew how I felt since we discussed it prior, and I asked her to leave if he showed up anywhere around her. Well, he did, and even rotated on to play a foursome on her court with her brother and one of her friends. She didn't want to make a scene at the pickleball courts. So ultimately, we could have kept trying, but she was basically good to divorce as she didn't think, after 3 months of barely trying, that her feeling would ever change. Note form about October 19 to October 20. I agreed to no intimacy, and I did all chores, drive kids all round, made sure she didn't lift a finger and did so happily. She never accepted compliments. doesn't like flowers or candy, doesn't do dates unless you count going to the grocery store together, and barely went to like 3 therapy sessions at the end. Lost cause. She has done horrible things to me and has manipulated me my whole life. I gave up everything for her, friends, where we lived, stayed in a long hours, stressful job, joined her church, etc. And I know she is a horrible person and has been since the beginning. I never knew it was this bad until 2 of my kids found the nude pics she sent the original dude. So why do I still love her? Not in love, mind you, because she hasn't treated me well enough for that. Why do I want to reconcile and be a family still? Why can't logic punch my heart in the face and tell it to sit down? How do I stop caring that she is getting a happy ever after and I am alone and away from my kids? Redditor's reactions with Oppie answers. Update after. Redditor 1. Bro, you need to switch your focus to you and you alone. You sound like the classic nice guy provider. You're assigning her as the gatekeeper of your value, and that is 100's wrong. Period. End of story. Everything you do from here on out should have one goal attached to it, to make you happy. You, not her, not your kids, not anyone else in the universe. Get your ass to the gym and work relentlessly. Go make male friends and go do man poop with them. Pick up new hobbies. Change your wardrobe. Read No More Mr. Nice Guy and Dad's Starting Over. You need to purposefully get into the EII don't give a duck mindset. Also, read up on Stoicism and adopt it as your operating system. Sit down with yourself and say, "Duck this. I'm done. I'm going to get to work on me and I'm going to have a ducking adventure from this day forward." Then, a man of your ducking word. The time to pout and sulk and hope for a better marriage is over. This is you time. You got this. Up, answer. You're not wrong on most of your comments, man. I am the perennial nice guy. So when I do rage about this to her, or if the kids ever accidentally see, then I look like a major a-hole. And you're right on and getting in shape and making Broa to hang out with. All my old friends are her friends too, right? And all are married with multiple kids, so having a dude's night out or camping, hiking on a wine, whatever isn't, I think he cards with them. Plus, I am being careful about the narrative. I would love to blast her across all over social media, but I got the kids to consider and I can't be that dude that's bitter and angry and no fun to be around. I am in the long game now. I mentally feel I need 2 events to help my motivation. Divorce finalization in about 5-6 weeks and to get a house on the other side of town by my kids. Rent is crazy, but I may have to break down and do it and wait out a house. Redditor 2. I feel for you. Things won't be easy for a long time. Make a plan, create boundaries, execute on them. Work one day at a time. Remember, you deserve to be picked first by someone that actually cares. She was going to leave me for him and had second doubts and liked how our family was having fun. She now wanted to save our marriage and family. The problem is she already checked out and didn't want to put the effort to check back in. This is called monkey branching. Don't fall for it. Note form. About October 19 to October 20, I agreed to no intimacy, and I did all chores. Drive kids all round. Made sure she didn't lift a finger and did so happily. She never accepted compliments. Doesn't like flowers or candy, doesn't do dates unless you count going to the grocery store together, and barely went to like 3 therapy sessions at the end. Lost cause. Sounds like my Starbucks that had an affair. She kept telling me I need time to work on me. At some point, you will finally decide you've given the clown enough time. She didn't want to make a scene at the pickleball courts. Code for I don't want to be told what to do. I want to do what I want to do and don't care how it impacts anyone else. Up, answer. Yeah, I definitely deserve to be picked first, like you said. Awesome point. And it ended me when I made lease with our divorce. Ayun. Paralegal had our docs drafter and everything, and a month later had doubts. I thought finally her come-to-Jesus moment is here. But she supposedly didn't know what she wanted, which I think is bull since she supposedly wanted out 10 years ago but basically stayed for the money. I keep second-guessing how I got here. Why did she think I didn't love her or the kids? I wasn't perfect. I was stressed out and worked long hours and had a horrible commute. She pushed me to make the money and said I would hate anywhere I would go, and I always complained about my jobs. She claims she tried to fix our marriage earlier that I didn't even know was broken, as she didn't communicate in a way I understood there was a big issue. I loved her and the kids, and for some reason, not always going to the park with them and doing more chores was evidence I heard all these years later. She also didn't want our kids to do chores because she said we didn't have kids to do our housework. Now, one thing that I admit I probably do too much, which was my big stress relief, was video games, and if she yelled at me for that, I said, "Okay, let's do something then," and she would just walk away. When I found out there was issue, I put all my gaming stuff in the closet, as she was worth more to me than that stuff. She started after a while telling me I needed a good outlet and to go back to playing, so I couldn't win man. I never put her down. Never abusive. She never accepted compliments. I tried to have us bond more and go out on dates or plan a getaway, but she wasn't down with that. We also always had a kid sleeping in bed with us, and I got so mad because we early had bonding time at night. And what she did accept was group dates or family vacations only. Now, she would argue, this was after she gave up 10 years into our marriage. But in any case, if your spouse is all in and awake, for lack of a better term, then give me a true honest chance. The second round husband is better than the first because now he knows there is an issue. Redditor 3. Why do you have to leave the family home instead of her? Is it because the kids? I hope the divorce goes in your favor. You may be finding it hard to accept that your marriage is over because you're losing the future you imagined for yourself. You liked your life the way it was, but you can still have most of that. You still have most of that. You still have your job, kids, family, friends, and hopefully your home or a new one. Answer. I did CD the home for the kids' sake. Equity was paid out via 400 ONEC funds withdrawn for her share. And I think my life will be better. I am concerned that maybe I just codependent and yes, thinking of the future I envisioned. But if I am honest with myself, I can't say I was truly happy, maybe more content. That's all stuff I have to unpack with a therapist. As for the divorce, she is actually being amicable. We used a paralegal together and avoided lawyers. My state doesn't care about infidelity, and we did not have a covenant marriage. Maybe she does have a tiny bit of soul left and didn't take me to the cleaners because of that. I will never know, and that's okay. Update. The little changes your ex makes that tick you off and are out of character. So my soon-to-be ex, about 5 weeks till D-Day, has cheated, lied, used, and manipulated me our entire dating. Marriage history is now doing things out of character and making changes that irk me a bit. Things like getting an ice machine, when I stated we should get one for a while, but she wasn't interested. Keeping the house super clutter-free. Never did that before. Always lets app drive, when she likes to usually, and tells the kids she is worried about money yet takes over her brother's in-law's timeshare at $1,600 a year cost. The kicker today was telling our oldest daughter and her husband, married 2 months ago, who are going to Hawaii, that she wanted to go to Hawaii with her to help her with anxiety. My ex never wanted to go to an island ever our entire marriage. She doesn't like the thought of being surrounded by water and possibly getting hit with a storm or something. I have been trying to get her to go for forever. Even my oldest boy, who's out of state, we have a family phone call once a week, called Bees on that. If she decides she wants to go overseas travel, I will lose it because that's one major thing she has held me back from. We shall see. It's like I never knew her or something. Or she is totally changing for her app. Not sure, but it just pisses me off a bit because it is so out of character and she didn't change till now, after 25 total years together. It's like she just wanted to try and do everything now. No inhibition or something. And yes, I know that sounds silly when I started off talking about a ice maker. It's what I see behind those decisions. This so going to be one weird trip dealing with her on co-parenting for the next 7 years and then just seeing her at kids' special events thereafter. I just needed to get that off my chest as a rant. And if you all have similar experiences, though, I would be happy to read those and see what your thoughts were on it and how you were able to let go. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1. My good sir, you are living her life, not yours. You haven't said anything about the nice lady you've been seeing. If you don't get out of your ghost relationship with her and her new spouse, you'll be into next year ruminating about her and her freezer box. This will be your downfall. Little peek behind the curtain. The more you watch her, the more she'll give you to watch and you won't be able to look away. Up. Answer. Yeah, I know, man. And I think she is either doing it to screw with me or she is just sick in the head. I can't understand what drives her and I have to accept I never will. Redditor 2. When you resist, things continue to persist. Some couples are just not good together. People change. Who cares what and why she does things? It's not a reflection on you or failure. It's just change, man. You keep drinking the poison, waiting for the other person to get sick. Focus on you. Up. Answer. Yeah, that's her mantra when talking to others. She neglects the cheating, lying, and going after married dudes twice, but yeah, we have changed and drifted apart is how she phrases it. But I really have to consider this may play some role in it too. Redditor 3. Her love was fraudulent over all your years together. Maybe her personality is also fraudulent. Maybe she knows how to slip masks on so she can show him she's into him, she's into him, she's into him and his hobbies and likes, the way she slipped a mask on to show you she's into you. Who cares why she does this? You should just pity her for the fact that she doesn't have an identity of her own.